look ahead, Mr. Advani, you're heading into an election year. You say that these kind of labels that are used like hawk and dove, hardliner and softliner are media creations. But the fact is that when Vajpayee ji was in active politics, in some ways, these were seen to be the two faces of the BJP, and it suited the BJP almost. There was a hard face, a soft face, and it kept the allies together. Now, there's you having to encompass the soft and the hard, the Vikas Purush and the Loh Purush. Is there a sense that you feel that in this, perhaps the final political innings of your life, you will have to reinvent yourself in some way?
You look at it this way. For many, many decades, when I was in the Jana Sangh or in the BJP, I was not supposed to be a mass leader. I was essentially an organization man. At the most, some people would call me an ideologue. I was not. My ideologue really, if there was any ideologue in the party, from the very beginning it was mainly Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. I learned something from him, and it was the Rath Yatra of 1990 and the subsequent events that really gave me this position of being a mass leader who can. And yet it was in 1995 at the plenary session of the party in Mumbai that I formally announced. I said that I expect this party will be able to get a majority, will be able to lead the next government when the elections take place in 1996. And if it does happen, Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee will be our Prime Minister. Why did I say it? Why? Because even at that point of time, when many people thought that Advani is a very big mass leader who has created this Ayodhya movement, who's been so active, who undertook this Rath Yatra, which changed the nature of debate in the country on the issue of secularism, I felt there's no doubt that Vajpayeeji's acceptability goes across party lines. He's acceptable to everyone. He who may not agree with the ideology of the BJP and the Jana Sangh would accept Vajpayee as Prime Minister. That is not true about me. Some of my colleagues may think so, but it's not true about me. And I made that announcement, which made even Vajpayee ji tell me, मुझसे तो पूछा होता. मैंने कहा आपसे पूछते तो आप हाँ थोड़ी करते. And fortuitously, very good thing happened when 3 months later, this was in November 1995, and 3 months later in the month of February, I am charged with Hawala. I felt that day कि मुझसे भगवान ने अच्छा काम करवाया मुंबई में कि मुझसे घोषणा करवा दी. Because now there would be no credibility if I were to say it. And therefore, I have always held that a person like Vajpayee ji is really suited for a country like India.
But that's no longer the case. It's not an option available anymore.
That's all right. So, yeah, I am what I am. What I did in Pakistan was not because I was about to become, to be named the Prime Ministerial candidate. I did because I believe in it. And therefore, I don't think I have to consciously change my image. Those days, if I did something and I mentioned it, तो लोग कहते थे रहने दो इसको मत करो, ये मत बताओ कि तुमने 92 के उसके बाद जो वहाँ पर डिमोलिशन हुआ, उसके 2 महीने 3 महीने बाद तुम अपनी पत्नी की भांजी के शादी में तुम आशीर्वाद देने गए थे जिसने एक मुसलमान से शादी की. ये मत करो क्योंकि तुम्हारी ये जो आज की हार्डलाइन इमेज है ना वो अच्छी है, वो रहने दो.
But for example, there were differences, and you allude to it in the book, between Vajpayee ji and you over, let's say, Narendra Modi and whether he should resign or not. I put it to you that that was then seen again as hardliner Advani backing Narendra Modi and softer Vajpayee saying nahi, he should step down. When you look back and you say you were vindicated in that decision that Narendra Modi should continue, do you believe that, is there any part of you that believes that this could be a mistake in the long run, in the creation of a man who may become bigger than the party?
I have never thought of it, never. In fact, bigger than the party, when you mention this phrase, I recall that at the last session of Parliament in 2007, on the last day I addressed the press. And one of the girls did ask me, Advaniji, don't you think that Narendra Modi has become larger than the party? Exactly these words. I said, we see it in our own respective families, that in the family there may be a youngster who may be very bright and who may be outstanding in his work, and because of that youngster, the whole family gets a reputation and prestige. It only can make it happy कि उनकी साख अगर इतनी है, पॉपुलैरिटी इतनी है कि जो उस परिवार का मुखिया है उससे भी ज़्यादा है, तो इसमें अफसोस की कौन सी बात है? I feel very happy about it, that one of my younger colleagues has acquired a name and fame which exceeds that of the party.
But for
even in case of वाजपेयी जी के लोग सब तारीफ करते थे कि भाई पार्टी के रेपुटेशन से भी ज़्यादा उनकी रेपुटेशन है. तो अगर नरेंद्र मोदी की भी रेपुटेशन पार्टी से भी ज़्यादा है तो इसमें अफसोस की क्या बात है? उनके केस में तो उसकी तारीफ करेंगे, इनके केस में उसकी आलोचना करेंगे कि ये तो तुमसे भी बड़ा हो गया.
लेकिन जब आपको हार्डलाइनर कहते हैं लोग, then the image really is of a firm leader, perhaps right of center, tough on issues, but as you write yourself, you've never been called a fanatic. Do you believe that the perception of Narendra Modi as a ruthless leader could hurt the BJP?
I don't think he's a ruthless leader. If he were so, how does this square up? In no riot since 1947 have 200 rioters been shot dead, many of them Hindus. How does it square up with the image कि इन्होंने deliberately genocide करवाया, massacre करवाया, ये करवाया? It did happen. Ugly things did happen. No one can deny that. And therefore, I've said I feel ashamed that this kind of thing happened. But it happened as a reaction to what happened in Godhra. It should not have happened. It has happened in the past also. None of us ever said what Rajiv ji said about the killing of Sikhs in Delhi. कि ऊंचा पेड़ तो गिरता है तो धरती तो हिलती ही है.
So you believe that backing him was
and despite that, he was maligned the world over. In India particularly, कि उससे जैसा दुष्ट कोई हो ही नहीं सकता, उससे बड़ा. I don't subscribe to that. I disagree with it honestly.
Gujarat polarized the political environment also in a way, and in the last few years we've seen a very hostile environment exist between the BJP and the Congress. Now, post the launch of this book, we saw you actually reaching out to both Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh. You went to meet both of them. Why did you decide to break the ice, even though so many Congress leaders were invited to the launch and not one of them turned up? What made you take that decision?
But I did think that night. और मैंने कहा कि इसमें क्या है, कल वैसे भी होली है और पुस्तक मेरी छप गई है, रिलीज हो गई है. Why not avail of this opportunity to go and meet them, call on them? And I felt happy after that. I did not go alone. I went along with my wife, Kamala, and I went to her place. It was the first time that I visited that place. But she was very cordial, very warm, and we had coffee together.